Hey, what's up everybody? It's Dean, aka Razzy D from Filthee Feet, here with another Filthee tutorial. Today we're going to look at what to do with your arms when you're top rocking. Now, this is something that I think is kind of hard for beginners to kind of figure out, and it's kind of hard for people in general to figure out. So what do you do with your hands? And I think a big problem with that is that people don't explore it. They don't explore hand styles or what they can do with their hands because they're so focused on the feet and doing something cool with the feet. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's definitely possible to, feet are the focus, and it's definitely possible to start taking away from what you're doing with your feet and start doing all this like too much with your hands, right? But I think it's important to be active with your hands and do something with them and not just have them be kind of like bear claws. When you're dancing, they're just kind of swinging, right? They're there and you can use them, just like your head is there and you can use it. Your shoulders are here and you can use them. And your chest is here and you can use them. Use it. And your waist too, everything, right? It's not just your feet, it's not just your legs. Like, this whole dance is your entire body and everything is possible. There's certain things that get emphasized, like your feet, and when you're on your hands and feet, like in footwork and stuff, your feet are kind of the main focus, but you're allowed to do stuff with your hands, you're allowed to do stuff with your head, you can do stuff with the rest of your body. And yeah, so first is like realize that they exist and that you can use them. So probably if you're watching this, you've already done that step. Next is to start exploring what you can do with them. And a really good first step, I would say, is I made a video about body awareness, and it's a simple drill that was taught to me by a group called Tentacle Tribe out of Montreal. Shout out to Elon and Emmanuel for doing that workshop and kind of exposing me to all this stuff that really changed my mind and a lot of things. So basically what that exercise is, and you can do this anywhere, you can do it at practice, you might feel a little silly, so depending on how confident you are, maybe you just do it at home by yourself. But either way, you can do this anywhere. And the whole thing is to start with your fingers and just start moving them around and doing stuff. And just putting on music and seeing where it'll go. Okay? And then from there, you expand to your hands. And after you've done that a little bit, and you see what the possibilities are, and you start kind of playing around, and then you start unlocking different sections of your limb and your body, right? And you start with your hands. I think it's a good place to start because you end up at your feet, at your toes, and by that time everything is already moving and you've done it so much that you've kind of stopped paying attention to it. Now it's just moving and you're doing stuff, and now you don't have to think about it so much, and you're free to kind of focus on your feet. And to me, this is going to be a recurring theme in a lot of my videos. Like, if you want to learn how to freestyle and really just like be one with the music and stuff, and that's something that I'm still working on, this is something that you have to do, is you have to do stuff so much that it becomes ingrained in your head. However that is, like the way that you practice something, that's going to become your foundation. So then those are the things that you fall back on when you don't know what to do. It's just in your head and they just come out. And when you're free to do that, like let's say you're doing a 6-step, once you know a 6-step, you don't have to think about doing it. You can just do it at any point. You're lost in what to do. Oh, 6-step, CC, hook, whatever, all those different things. And what might throw you off is like the fact that you think that you're lost in this kind of stuff, right? That just comes with experience. Anyway, I'm getting out of this random tangent. So back to the body awareness exercise. The point of it is to limit yourself to, say, just your fingers. And because it's so limited, this goes back to like the previous video that I made. Bing, there it is. Is you limit yourself in some way and you exhaust all the possibilities, and then when you do it long enough and you start getting bored, you're like, I'm doing the same thing. How can I make this different? Okay, what if I started playing with isolating the hands, like which hand is doing something? It's moving, it's moving, it's moving, stop, boom, 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 stop, boom, 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 stop, boom, boom, stop, right? Something simple like that, and then you start playing with that, and it's the idea of doing it so much, and then you kind of stop thinking about it. And it's the same sort of process as meditation. When you initially sit down to meditate and you start focusing on your breath, your mind is still awake and it's still thinking about stuff, like, or it's still kind of in that mode of like paying attention to all these different things, and you're still thinking about your day or whatever. After, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes, depending on the person, like eventually you just start thinking about, if you can concentrate on your breath, your mind starts going into this sort of like default network, I forget the term for it, but it's basically the same kind of thing as like daydreaming. And that's when all these random thoughts start coming in. And the key to freestyle is tapping into that sort of feeling but being conscious of it. And so you do these things to become aware of your arms, right? And when you start applying that to Toprock, like, you don't have to, after you've become so comfortable with your arms and you don't have to think about what to do, like, then you can just, you're thinking about what to do with your feet, and your hands and arms are just doing things because you've explored how to move them, right? I'm doing this, I get to my elbows, boom, boom. Now the wrist is free to like move around in 3D space, right? And once I unlock the shoulder, now the elbow is free to start moving around in 3D space. And there's this whole part up here that a lot of people don't even think about. B-boys, B-girls, a lot of times they think up here, and just here, 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 here. They don't even think about going up into the air or dropping low and exploring that area. And because I said exploring this area, that forces your body to get low. And so that's like, because you wanted to explore with your hands, it's leading the rest of your body to do stuff, right? So that's just like, these connections are happening organically, so bear with me. The idea is, yeah, to make these motions unconscious. And so that's a good starting point, is that drill. Next thing to do is, this helped me a lot, is to start exploring other dances. Particularly things like popping and whacking. And popping helped me a lot because it helped me think of what you're doing with your body, especially in Toprock. All these different positions, whatever, these are poses. And in popping, it's all, I'm a terrible popper, but it's finding interesting positions to hit, and then you add that pop or whatever. Right? But if you explore that and you start going slow and you work the rest of your body into it, like popping uses the hands a lot, and they'll use different shapes, right? And different, I don't know, this is like magazines and stuff like that. Watch Wiggles and you'll learn a lot from him. But that's the idea, it's like, it'll expose you to just different kinds of movements. Whacking is the same thing, of like, these kind of circular movements, or like even doing this, like grabbing your shoulder. Would you ever have thought about doing that if you were just looking at breaking? Probably not. So it just exposes you to new ideas, and it allows you to break these barriers of like, this is what breaking is supposed to be like. And of course you have to know what breaking is in the first place to start going outside of it, so that you know how to keep it like still feeling like breaking, still kind of looking like breaking while doing these motions and whatever. So that's the other thing, is start exploring different dance styles. You want to think like, okay, what do I do with my hands? Well, you do what's natural. So if you think, when you're walking, what do? You don't walk like this, right? You use your arms. There's a natural way of just kind of swinging your arms. you're running, same kind of thing. Just, it's natural. Maybe it's in your DNA, I don't know, or this is how people are taught, or whatever. It doesn't even matter however you run. Like, you're gonna swing your arms no matter what. It's just natural to do that. And if you look at Toprock, it's just stepping back and forth and doing these things. So if you kind of apply that same thing, if I take a step, my right foot, my left hand is going to naturally kind of move, and this one's going to kind of move back. So if I apply that to this cross, this two-step, boom, boom. Now the weird part, weird part is the in-between, and that might throw people off. But a lot of that is just getting used to your body and knowing that in between it can do whatever it wants, and then you can do that. But again, like, it really is whatever feels good. It's just familiarity with your body and comfort and not caring what people think. That's a big thing, is this ego of like, people are judging me, they're thinking this is whack and whatever. Who cares? Maybe you're a beginner, of course you're gonna look whack at some point. Everyone looks whack. And that's something that if you're making fun of someone, you're an idiot, because at some point you were in that position. So like, if someone is making fun of you for looking whack, just remember that they used to look like that too, and it doesn't matter. Who cares? So again, it's like, what's natural? Just play around, and that's the basic thing. Just start with that. Is like, I'm moving my left leg, so my right hand should start moving, and then you start building it slowly, progressing it. Okay, so I'm swinging now. Maybe I want to start making it bigger. Maybe I want to start making it really big. Boom, boom, and then naturally there, I'm just kind of filling in this one, that kind of like 1, 2, boom. Step 1, 2, boom, and I'm prepping for that next swing. So I just kind of do whatever, right? And then, okay, I'm tired. It's the same kind of principle. You've limited yourself. Limit yourself to 1 step, 2 step. Boom, 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 and just see what you can do. Boom, 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 boom. You'll just start to get kind of, you don't have to go that fast, but you'll start to get kind of bored with the same movements over and over and over, and then you'll just want to start playing around. And that's really what it is. Go back to the last video and check that out, and you'll kind of get what I mean of like exhausting possibilities. So that's really all it is, you know. Give yourself things to work with. I said check out other dances, and I'll give you inspiration of like where to move. Look at just natural movement of walking. If you think of, I'm just walking in a circle, but if I add that kind of breaking feel, that little rock at every step, boom, 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 you can just walk around and play with that, right? So that's really all it is like being aware of your arms, being aware of possibilities, and you don't learn that unless you try it out and you start exploring it. So just start exploring things freely, without any judgment, without any possibilities of this is whack or this is not whack. Just try it and just do it. I even recommend like closing your eyes and doing it. But yeah, just do it. Explore all the possibilities, know what kind of movement is possible, and familiarize and internalize those movements into your head. Look at other dances, look at other movement, not even just breaking. Look at just movement in general, not even dance. Like look at the way that, if you look at the people that created this dance in the early 60s, 70s or whatever, even back into like rocking in the 60s, I think it was 60s, like their inspirations came from all over the place. Their inspirations came from like kung fu movies and comic books and stuff like that, you know, superheroes, and even kung fu, like those styles like snake style and dragon style and crane style, those come from animal movements. So like look at all these different things that just start to like shift your brain outside of dance, outside of that bubble, and start to look at, like, maybe you like basketball. Start looking at basketball and start looking at their hands and think, can I use that? Is that possible to use it as inspiration? Maybe you have like, and that's the pass, where you're doing something and you just, that's the window, tomahawk jam, or whatever you want to call it. That's it. Look at cartoons. There's this step that comes from Popeye, right? So these things can come from anywhere, and a lot of it is just doing it, familiarizing yourself with it, and then just being comfortable with it yourself, and being just not caring what other people think, and just thinking, I like it, I'm gonna do it. I don't really care. You know, take other people's opinions into consideration, especially people that you respect, and just take it in. Does it make sense? Is it something that you want to do? Because at the end of the day, it's your style, it's your dance. You know, no one can tell you how to be you better than you. Okay, so that's really all it is. Exploration, all that stuff. I'm repeating myself now. Okay, so good luck with your arms. Try stuff out, wavy, whatever. And yeah, don't worry, just dance. All right, peace.